like this, we up.
Welcome to the State of Hockey podcast, featuring Justin Jelnick and Joe Hayford. Let's talk hockey.
Welcome to the State of Hockey podcast. This is episode 20 edition for Wednesday, October 14th, 2015. I am Justin Jelnick from the State of Hockey blog, and also from the State of Hockey blog, my partner in crime, Mr. Joe Hayford. Joe, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Kind of recovering from a scary batch of Wild games.
Yes, they got the 4 points that they needed, but it was certainly not the prettiest path.
Yes, it definitely was not pretty.
Yeah. Well, we might as well just jump right into our weekend review. So, the Wild opened their season at Denver on Thursday afternoon or Thursday evening, and it came up to a bad start. They were down 3-0 after one. Preezy pulled one back in the second just to give it away a couple minutes later. And the Wild found themselves down 4-1 after two, and really had shown no competence whatsoever up to that point.
Yeah, every which way you could think, the Wild just did not play. They didn't play hockey. They played pickup hockey. They skated around, tried to get the puck. They were nowhere near where they needed to be defensively. You saw zero effort out of anyone except for number 11.
Yes.
It was absolutely dreadful to watch. And of course you hear the "here you goes" coming back on Twitter, and here we go again.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, well, I should say fortunately, actually, the people who didn't deserve to see the comeback didn't see it. They turned their TVs off, and they got what they deserved.
I suppose I should admit to being among the guilty. I flipped over until I've managed to flip back in time to see it go to 4-3 after Nino's goal, and then I hung in there till the end, and it was still amazing to watch. But yeah, I'll admit I'm one of those people you don't like for that right now.
Yeah, and you actually missed the best goal of the game.
I did.
Parise got absolutely leveled by Landeskog, got right back up and scored about 4 seconds later.
Love that Zach Parise. So he ends up with the hat trick, including the game winner with still 10 minutes to play, but the Wild managed to score 4 goals in a period of 5:07 to win 5-4 on opening night. Parise had 3 goals, Vanek and Nina Reiter with the others, and the Wild get their first 2 points the hard way.
Yeah, a couple of things to take away from that game, too. Nino Niederreiter ended up leaving early from that game shortly after he scored his goal. And, most teams, the home team provides the doctor, which was the case in this game. And apparently he was never given the concussion protocol test.
Yes.
By the Avs doctors. That's kind of... it's kind of a little disconcerting.
I would say that's super sketchy. So, and as it turns out, he was checked the next day and he was fine. But he probably could have returned to that game if the Colorado Avalanche had lived up to their obligation in this instance.
Yeah, and I'm curious. I haven't actually seen any recourse come out of this. I haven't seen a statement from the NHL. I haven't seen a statement from NHL player safety, which should be all over this, or the NHLPA.
I agree 100%. And I know one person that didn't want to let this die for a couple days was head coach Mike Yeo. He definitely...
Mike Yeo, Michael Russo was all over it as well.
Yes. And I'm surprised he hasn't delivered any more information on that. But
I think he's kind of stuck where we are. We just don't know what the recourse is here. It's kind of one of them things where it's protocol, but what are the consequences when protocol is not followed?
I guess if you want a job done right, you have to do it yourself. And I read Bruce's explanation that they don't do traveling doctors in the regular season because it's just too much to ask the doctors that they use to give up their practice for that long hunks of time.
Exactly. Yeah, and usually they have a doctor travel with them late in the season and through the playoffs, but not early on.
Yeah, well, so very disappointing. Shame on you, Colorado. Even more reasons we hate you.
Yes. Yes.
And it's so hard to do a Patrick Waugh getting fired countdown because it could happen at any time.
Yeah, although, another thing
know,
that
you
came
think
out
I'm
of
wrong
that,
on
and, I'm actually, something I didn't see coming out of this whole coach's challenge deal. Patrick Waugh didn't use a timeout. Did you read that piece?
Yes. And he was afraid of needing it for a challenge.
Yes.
And that's kind of an odd
that's very interesting.
And maybe he should have to stop the bleeding. Maybe it's a different result. It's always easy to play these games backwards, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I really never saw that aspect of it coming out. I don't want to use my timeout because I might need it for a challenge. I never saw that repercussion.
Right.
So that's kind of an interesting take, and I wonder if that'll affect us at all through the season.
It is interesting, and this definitely came into play in the second game this week with the Wild over St. Louis. Charlie Coyle just was on fire in this game on Saturday. He had a lot of great chances, and he just buried a ruthless backhand for the first goal after escaping two players on the wall with 8 seconds to play in the first. That was just an incredible goal.
Yes, he I love the improvement that he's showing. It seems like he's like this every year at the beginning of the year. And that's kind of something I want to allude to after we're done covering game 2. But that was about as sick as a goal can get. On the backhand, putting it, top shelf, backside.
Alec goal the wrong way, and
going the wrong way.
That's a finisher's finish right there. I mean, when we lament the idea that it feels like the Wild don't have these killer finishing goals, I mean, these are the ones that I feel like we're missing when they go through those stretches.
Absolutely.
Where they take advantage of those opportunities.
Coyle had 2 goals. One of them they tried to give to Bannock, but, it's just not happening.
That was funny. Alex Steen evened this one up early in the second, but then Preezy got a power play goal, and then Coyle ended up getting a second one shortly after, 21 seconds later, that they did initially try and give to Vanek, and was announced as Vanek's 300th goal at the arena. We all cheered and excited, and then read the tweets during the intermission. Oh, did really happen.
Yeah, and I will touch on Vanek here. I've been given a lot of grief in my time for my Vanek hating, and I'm going to go ahead and say right now, Vanek's played his 2 best games in a Wild uniform, and that includes the game on Thursday, and he was actually one of the most productive players in the first 2 periods of Thursday's game.
I just want to know who is giving you a hard time for giving Vanek grief.
You gotta check my mentions on Twitter
Yes, I should.
When I
I guess it's proof that not everybody follows both of us. I don't know. Because I mean, I guess in my view of Twitter, and I know our views can be different. I mean, the Vanek bashing is pretty universal. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I have some friends, and I actually happen to agree with this line of thought, but Vanek kind of just, it's really hard to root for that guy sometimes. Mm-hmm. You should root for every player on your team. And I'm along that line of thinking. I think that your team is your team. Every player on that team is part of it. And it doesn't really do you any good to bash on a player. But Vanek makes it really, really hard.
I think that's a noble sentiment. Yeah, sometimes he does, but I fully agree with your assessment. Definitely 2 great games, and it's probably a pretty low bar to say they're the best he's played. Maybe there is some truth
in a Wild uniform. Yes.
Yeah. And yes, in a Wild uniform. Maybe there is some truth.
I mean, I saw him back check. I saw him actually on the other side of the blue line during transition.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting for the puck to enter the zone. He gets it on the forecheck. I really, really, really like what Vanek's showing, and I hope that it continues.
Maybe he and Coyle are gonna work very well together. So
that's true. Yeah. So here's my question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Coyle's been spectacular in the early months with the Wild every season.
Mm-hmm.
He's been spectacular when he's playing for the juniors.
Mm-hmm.
There's a common denominator here. He's not with Yo when he's being productive, and it seems like he gets back into Yo's system, because he doesn't train with Yo or he doesn't go through Yo's system during the off season, and then it seems like he's really good, and then by the time he gets back into the system that Mike Yo plays, he becomes unproductive again. Is Yo's system limiting Coyle's potential?
It's a good question, especially seeing his results in the Worlds last spring, and I don't know. I mean, it sounds like he's being a little more open this year to not relying so heavy on the veterans. We'll see how long that lasts. So I get the feeling this might be a different year than the last couple as far as certain things in Yo's philosophy, but obviously that remains to be seen.
It does remain to be seen, and if the first 2 games are an indication, we might be heading in the wrong direction because we cannot survive like this very long.
Do you like how I got around saying we'll see what happens with it remains to be seen?
Yes.
All right. We'll tidy it up. The Wild start the third with double minor followed by another minor penalty. Vlad Tarasenko. What a talent he is, though. My goodness.
Yeah, just imagine if we had a Tarasenko in our lineup.
Oh, man. He may be just about all St. Louis will have going for them at times this year, but man, when he gets to the net, he's a killer. He potted a power play goal there. Wild get outshot 13-1 in the third. That didn't make me happy.
Yeah, it was a very awful third. It was again what I harped on all last year and what I'll harp on all this year. You have to play 3 periods.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I'd honestly be comfortable with them playing 3 periods at 80%.
Yeah. Compared to what
they seem to play 1 period at 100% and the rest of them at like 25.
Yeah, I would agree. So, I definitely would say we got 2 solid periods of effort on Saturday. And I get it, it's hard to get your offense going when you spend the first 5.5 minutes killing penalties, but still you gotta find ways to keep the pressure on them. Devin Dubnyk was spectacular on Saturday night to preserve the win, and so the Wild get 4 points from 2 games last week, and they sit atop the Central Division, tied with Nashville, also at 4 points from 2 games. Let's see here. Winnipeg and Chicago also have 4 points, but from 3 games. And then everybody in the Central has something right now, as of when we're recording this. So Colorado, St. Louis, and Dallas each have 2. And right now there are 4 teams in the Metro Division with giant zeros. So,
including the Flyers?
No, the Flyers got 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's Carolina, Pittsburgh, New Jersey, and Columbus. Columbus having played 3 games. Everybody else having played 2. So
that's kind of a surprising team out of that.
Yeah. So, nobody makes the playoffs in October, but you sure can miss them. So, it's early, but it's always good to keep an eye on what's what. So, Wild have West Coast trip coming up this weekend, which we'll talk a little more about at the end of the show. But I guess we should discuss our 3 stars, Joe.
He scores!
You want stars?
You believe in miracles? Yes!
We got stars.
And the Wild are a Dubnyk save away from a shootout win.
State of Hockey's 3 stars of the week.
Save Dubnyk! And the Wild win it in the shootout!
Before we get into that, I want to talk about Parise getting snubbed from the 3 stars of the NHL this week.
Yeah, Yes, we can do that. So who were the 3 stars for the NHL this week?
So we got Justin Ablocator was the number 1 star.
Okay. What did he do that was so great?
He had a hat trick the same night Parise did.
Okay.
But the difference is that his team won 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even close at all. He has 4 points, or I'm sorry, he has 5 points in 2 games. He has an assist. So I'm not really all that upset with him being there.
Okay. Who's next?
Oscar Lindbergh, New York Rangers.
I do not believe I know who that even is.
He is
Shows my
a
West Coast
rookie
bias.
for the Rangers.
Ah.
Played 3 games. He has 4 points as well.
Okay.
4 goals. So 4 goals in 3 games, or 4 goals in 2 games. I give Parise the nod, not just because of the way he did it, but he did it in 2 games. And if it weren't for Zach Parise, I mean, not even given the score, obviously he had the game-winning goal, and we know the differences here. But Zach Parise literally put his team on his back and won that game on Thursday night. And it was very evident. Everything you need to know about that whole game was Zach Parise getting leveled by Landeskog, getting back up and scoring. That's the epitome of Zach Parise, and that's why he deserved to be in the 3 stars. He should have been number 1, Advocator number 2, and Mike Smith, the goalie for the Coyotes, was number 3. He's 2-0-0 with a 1.0 goals against average and a 9.7 save percentage.
That's nuts.
Yeah, he deserves to be there as well.
So
Lindbergh needs to come out, Abdicator needs to move to 2, and Parise should be 3.
I agree. Well, I guess we kind of spoiled who our choice is going to be among the Wild players. But you guys should tune in anyway.
Was there any doubt that Parise would be there?
The most doubt was probably over the 3rd spot, but we ended up settling on Jason Pominville. So he had,
Mikael Granlund.
Mikael Granlund. Jeez, I get my first liners mixed up. That's not good. So
the Parlinville line.
Yeah.
Could have been.
Should have been. Sorry about that. Having an interesting night. So 4 assists for Granlund, and he was the team leader in Corsi through the first 2 games, and I like what he's done so far.
I've got 3 assists for Granlund.
Oh, I thought you could it was 4. You know what? It's 2.
I've got 3 assists according to NHL.com.
Let's go with 3 assists then. I'm on War on Ice, and I think they're having some bugs early on this season. So
yeah, the biggest thing there, he's +3 on the year.
Yeah.
I mean, a little easier to do when you got Parise on your line, scoring 4 goals.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's +3. He's playing heads up. He's playing like the Granlund of the 2013-14 season. He's making those passes again. Those right on your tape, can't miss the net passes.
You gotta like that. And yeah, I saw what I did. I only had even strength. He's got 2 assists, even strength, 1 power play. So, yep, 3 helpers, and of course he over 60%, so that's pretty good. And in all situations, I should say. And yep, so I think that top line is going to be pretty solid. Hopefully they keep that production going.
Yeah, and I mean, even Pominville had 2 assists. He's coming along as well.
Absolutely. So number 2 was who I would call Saturday night's hero, and that was Charlie Coyle.
Absolutely, 2 goals, 1 assist on the season so far, and 2 big goals in Game 2 of our season.
Absolutely, we already discussed a bit extra on Coyle already, but hopefully this will be the year that his production, stays high. There's no mid-season swoon, and I like the idea of him getting more opportunity to play on wing and do board play. But unfortunately, with Graovac's injury, that might not be the case this weekend, which we'll get into as well. So,
actually, yeah, we can get into that a little later. But I see Coyle staying right where he's at.
I think that's a good position for him. So,
yeah, I think he'll stay right where he's at. I think. We got Schrader that can come in and play play center on that 4th line.
That's true. So, okay. Well, and the number one stars, which should surprise nobody at this point, and that is Mr. Zach Parise.
No doubt in anyone's mind, I'm sure. How can you not love this guy? Absolutely love this guy.
Yeah, 4 goals, 4 games, hat trick on Thursday. Only reason they won the game. So, and got the season off to a good start.
It's third career hat trick, first one in the Minnesota Wild uniform.
Yay! Parise was also second on the team in Corsi at 64.56. So I think he's doing pretty well. I'll throw out some honorable mentions as well. Pominville was the team leader in Corsi at 67.53 in all situations. 2 helpers, as we mentioned already. Tyler Gravock, no points in only the 1 game, but his Corsi was 61%. So that's a solid number. That's kind of what you want to see out of that level, is still being able to maintain possession. Sorry he's going to miss 2 weeks.
Yeah, the one thing coming out of this is Tyler Gravock's out for a while. 2 weeks with a groin injury. But I did like a lot what I saw from him. He did not get a whole lot of ice time in the first. Because obviously we were playing from behind. But when things picked up and when Yo started rolling 4 lines in the second period, Gravock, I love what he showed.
I agree. I'm glad he made the team, and it should be fun to watch this year. I will give some love to a couple defensemen too. The unofficial favorite player of the SOTSO podcast, Matt Dumba, 1 assist, 55 Corsi. Probably didn't have the greatest game on Thursday, but I definitely like what he saw on Saturday, and he's getting some power play time.
Yeah. The thing I love about Dumba is that he knows when to step up into a play. He knows when he needs to play offense, and he knows when he needs to play defense. That's something that some of the elite defensemen don't really do.
Right.
Like the Ryan Suters, the Shea Webbers. They're more likely to start backskating to the red line than to go up and get a puck and try and dump it back in. And Matt Dumba does it responsibly.
And he's got the speed to get away with it, and we're still very much on Team Dumba here.
Absolutely.
Not that anybody expected that to change. And let's give Ryan Suter some love too. He had 3 helpers this weekend, and of course he had 55%, which is solid. And I just based on my eyeball test, it seemed to me like he was trying to jump in a little more frequently in Saturday's game.
I saw that actually in both games. I did also see, Brodin and Suter playing together again. I don't know what happened to Brodin.
Yeah.
But I think he would be a snub of the week.
Yeah.
He played a pretty awful game on Thursday and didn't really make up for it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he's hurt and we just don't know about it. But
possible.
I saw some big boneheaded plays out of him.
Everybody has bad games too. They got 4 days to fix it. So.
Yeah, I agree. I don't expect it to be a habit or anything. I mean, it is Jonas Brodin, so
it's a tough week. Oh, and of course we should mention our favorite goaltender, Devin Dubnyk. Statistically not great, but definitely the reason the Wild held on to win on Saturday. So I think he deserves a little love.
It's also the reason we held on to win on Thursday. I mean, he played an excellent third period.
He did have to make a couple big saves at the end, but I definitely think St. Louis.
McKinnon one-timer?
Yeah, that was quite the feat, actually. But I definitely think St. Louis, on the whole, offered more pressure in the third than Colorado did. But
well, I mean, in game 1, Dubnyk had absolutely no help. There was literally times where it was 3-on goaltender.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Suter and Brodin, and then 3 Avalanche players, and then Dubnyk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard to make a save when you got 3-on-none.
But
so, I mean, don't get me wrong. Dubnyk should have made some saves, and actually on Saturday he let 2 softies in. Both of them were softies.
You think?
But
the second one I didn't mind so much. I thought that was just, rebound. We got swarmed in the crease on a penalty kill.
I mean, I saw it was glove side, and I think he should have been able to get his glove up there.
I will defer to the ex-goalie. So,
but yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not worried about Dubnyk at all.
No.
And I think that this is kind of an extended preseason for us, and I almost like it better that we had two pretty bad games and we escaped with some wins.
Yeah.
Because it's something we can learn from, and every one of the players that were in press conferences said these were awful games.
Pretty much. I mean,
so they know what's going wrong, and I think it's good to come out with a win and realize you have to fix some things.
I think
then to get overconfident.
That's the best of all worlds. So to review, we went with Granlund, Coyle, and Parisi. Those were your 3 stars of the week. So, yeah. I guess we should talk about this. The NWHL, which we talked about extensively on our podcast with Ty Murphy a few weeks ago, opened their season on Sunday. They made their live stream available for free, and it's very exciting. I definitely enjoyed watching the energy and stuff, but I know we're both kind of in agreement. Not terribly TV friendly right now.
No, it's pretty hard to watch.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a novice hockey fan or you don't understand the game to its full potential.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really hard to follow. You got to be looking for things, and there's no replay. There's no
right.
What just happened? I missed that. You got to pay attention, and it is hard to follow. I'm really hoping that improves. Maybe multiple camera angles. Even if they put third the ice with cameras, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Right now they got one center ice and it just kind of rotates with the puck.
Yeah.
That's kind of...
It definitely made it
kind of hard to follow.
See him score goals and whatnot. But, I mean, the crowds were exciting to watch, to listen to anyway. And I hope this is a good start, even though clearly it's a more modest one than the WNBA had.
Yeah, and a prime example of what I'm talking about actually is I was watching the Buffalo Buttes game.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was on Sunday.
They both were on Sunday.
Yeah, it was Sunday.
Yeah.
The Buttes scored a goal, and it was apparently called off.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no explanation or no understanding of why it was called off.
Right.
And I didn't see why it would have been called off.
Yeah.
I couldn't see.
So, it's tough to follow. I mean, and far be it for us to complain about
follow.
something free, but...
Yeah, I mean, I wish... I mean, honestly, I would pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
If they were going to...
step it up a bit and see... But,
in a little better quality, I would pay to see it.
Yeah, but this year is an experiment, and I hope it's one that catches on, and I hope it's something that comes here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we got a couple of team name mentions from at Megan Uncanny.
Oh, we did. I didn't pull them. Did she just send them to you, maybe?
No, I think they were on the Twitter or on SOTSO Pod hashtag. But yeah, team names for our women's hockey team.
So, well, it would be exciting if they came.
Although, maybe we'll just keep the Whitecaps.
Yeah, that's probably what'll happen since they are an ex-CWHL team. And probably have to add one team in. The more I thought about our conversation, the more I liked the idea of maybe putting one in Madison instead of Chicago, like I had assumed.
Yeah.
Especially because, I caught a bit of Ryan Suter's Becoming Wild on Friday night. Or Saturday night after we got back from the game. And
he's the reason why I think we should put one in Wisconsin.
I agree. I mean, especially all the work he's done, with his dad's arena, and they have a good venue that's not the University of Minnesota because they have junior hockey there, and I think that's kind of where they need to go, is to get in at least these junior level buildings.
Exactly.
Instead of these high school arenas. But again, this year's just a test. I want to give a lot of leeway because I don't want to complain. I want this to succeed.
Yes, I agree.
I think that's the best message. these girls are getting paid at least. More than we can say for you CWHL people.
Canadians.
Yeah. Oh, happy Thanksgiving, by the way.
Yes, to you Canadians. Yesterday, my birthday.
I can't imagine any Canadians are listening to this show unless they like hearing me bash on Vancouver and Edmonton and Winnipeg and just plain feeling sorry for Toronto. And, yeah.
Well, you don't think Toronto's going to turn it around this year?
Oh,
Got the highest paid coach in the NHL.
This year's totally going to be the year. I completely forgot. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I give it 2 weeks before jerseys are on the ice again.
Yeah. Mike Russo had an interesting post that we're just going to brush over quick on Sunday morning about next summer's cap situation. I think he's basically trying to figure out how to get the next wave of free agents in next year. I'm just going to link that on the show page, but you guys should read that.
Yeah, absolutely. Long and short of it is Eric Hall is out. Everyone else is in.
Yeah, unless Holla
according to Russo, anyway.
Yeah, unless Holla makes it really difficult. Makes a case. This is probably his, he's playing for a contract somewhere this year.
Well, I don't think it's really up to him at this point. He has to make a case, and then someone else has to play poorly.
Yeah, well, yes, to stay here, that's
what
true.
It is.
But even if the second part of that opportunity, he's got to play to end up somewhere. And he's got the talent.
Yeah, I think we have. He does have the talent. I haven't really been impressed. He doesn't seem like he wants it at all. I mean, he doesn't take care of himself. He doesn't. Mm-hmm. He obviously doesn't condition himself. I don't know. I don't know. He's kind of like a Vanek Jr.
Yeah.
With a little more talent, I think, on defense.
A little more speed yet. Yeah. But
the effort just seems to be there only when he wants it to be. So that kind of worries me a little bit, I guess.
That's completely understandable and is going to be a problem. But you know how it is. You want to root for the guys in the sweater.
Yes.
I've made exceptions, though, in all honesty, that we've covered ad nauseum. So.
I love every single player that plays for this team with the exception of Vanek, and Vanek's the only one that I've ever felt that way about.
Yeah. I still want Vanek to succeed.
And I'm still coming around on Vanek.
Yeah. So we'll see. He'll eventually get his 300th. Maybe when they return home week after this, and they can do it all over again. Yeah.
Yes.
Wild have a weird schedule. Before we get in depth on the 3 games in the week upcoming, I'll just cover broadly here. So they got a Thursday, Friday back-to-back in Arizona and Los Angeles, then the Sunday in Anaheim. It seemed like that weekend last season they kind of had the same trip. And then they're off till Thursday again, so on another 3 days. And then home to Columbus and Anaheim before a one-off roadie in Winnipeg on Sunday. So,
getting ahead of us, 2 weeks out.
Oh yeah, I just kind of wanted to point out that gap between Sunday's game and the Thursday game at home, that the NHL gave them another 3-day break after playing 3 and 4.
Yeah, we pretty much established that the NHL absolutely despises Minnesota and everything it stands for some reason.
Yeah, or at the very least, they don't like them playing in October.
Yeah, I just don't. I do not understand it. It's driving me absolutely crazy watching this. I mean, they got another one. They play on Halloween, and then they don't play again until the 5th of November.
That's right. They're home to Chicago, and then they go away. And then, and then they go to St. Louis the next night. So, that'll be...
Well, and then after that, they don't play the Predators until the following Thursday.
That's the next game I'm going to, too, is on the 5th, so... against Nashville. So, that's exciting. Super psyched. But yeah, so 9 games for the Wild in 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks in October.
Yeah.
So we're going to fall behind.
Yep, they want to bunch us up and get us tired at the end of the year.
Apparently.
Make it hard for us.
Well, at the very least, it sounds like Kemper's going to get one of the 2 starts in the Thursday, Friday 2 and 2 this week.
I would expect him actually to have the Thursday start. And I say that because do you really want to have him starting against the Kings? I mean, the last time we played the Kings, we were
honestly.
4-0 after the first period.
Yeah. I'll tell you the truth, though. This season, I think Arizona's the scarier team. Just because of Mike Smith alone.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I suppose.
the Wild did win all 3 games against Arizona last year. But as we mentioned earlier, Mike Smith's given up 2 goals in 2 games on like 70 shots. This is going to be a tough road game just to generate offense on Thursday.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it really depends on which Wild team shows up. I don't know. I'm gonna say they take 1 out of 3 of these games. I'm going with 2 points.
Going with 2 points out
on
of
the road
3.
trip.
We'll talk a little more. I'm probably about there too, to be honest. But we'll talk about some of the Kings.
That's my realistic.
Yeah. The Kings are off to a slow start, but they beat the Wild 2 out of 3 last year. But the Wild got the last one.
They always seem to have our number.
They do. So, but the last one was the only one in the Dubnyk era in the Wild. That was a 4-0 win at home. And they're off to a slow start this year.
Yeah, it seems like the Kings get off to a slow start every year.
Yeah, that's true. But last year they didn't come up around to a strong finish.
That's true.
So
Their start was too slow to recover from.
Yeah, they were on the outside at the end of last year, and I'm starting to think that's going to happen again. So.
Yeah, Jonathan Quick doesn't really seem to be the Jonathan Quick of old. Either that or his defense just, I mean, I don't watch enough Kings games to know, but I don't know if his defense just isn't the same or what's going on.
I think that's part of it, and they don't seem to be getting the same offense either, but I know Jonathan Quick was one of my favorite goaltenders, so. But, we'll see. I like the Wild's chances in that game. So, we'll see. And then, Sunday.
That's actually the win I put them at, too.
The Ducks went 3 for 3 against the Wild last year. And, they seem to be off to a decent start, so.
As they are every year, yeah. You're right where I am, I think. I think we beat the Kings. Mm-hmm. And lose to the Coyotes and the Ducks. Again, it really depends on which Wild team shows up. If
I agree.
Play 3 periods, we can sweep this road trip.
Yeah.
But I think we're the better team of all 3 of those.
I'm going to give them credit for 3. I think they'll probably steal 1 from one of the Arizona or LA games. They'll probably win one of those. Don't like their chances that much against Anaheim on Sunday. But
really, the day off after the back-to-back?
Yeah, I know.
See, I like their chances a lot more in that game because it's the last game.
Yeah, but it's probably the toughest team they're playing of the 3.
The Wild seem to play better when they play a lot.
Yeah. So it could be 6 and we'll both eat crow. Sorry, we're not super optimistic about this weekend. But I definitely think, in fairness, Wild have given us reasons to doubt, even despite, getting 4 points.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'd love to be proven wrong, but realistically, the Wild haven't shown me another reason to think they wouldn't only take 2. And, if they, even against the Kings, if they play the way they did against the Avs, they're not taking any points.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they could have easily lost either game last week.
Contrary to Parisi's opinion, the Wild or the Avalanche are not a good team. Any other team we play like that against, we lose.
What else is Parisi gonna say? I mean, it was funny when he trolled them after that game in February.
Well, yeah. See, that's what he should say. That's what he should do. But then again,
I'd be
he might end up with his head on.
If I'd scored 1 goal against us all year, or whatever he said, that was awesome. So. Yeah, so I guess Colorado did match their total against the Wild last year.
Yes, they did. In 2 periods.
Oh, well. So, sorry we're kind of closing on a down prediction, but we try not to get too homerish about this. We try and see it for what it is. And it doesn't mean we won't be thrilled with 6.
And the Wild aren't going to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. So, a coworker of mine's out in Reno for some conference while they're going off at 12-1 right now to win the Stanley Cup. So they're in the top 10 of the favorites. But gambling's illegal in most places, kids.
And NHL.com had us going to the Western Conference Finals, losing to the Ducks.
Oh, I didn't even see that. It shows so much I read NHL.com, huh?
Yeah, NHL.com had their
so they think
their playoff prediction.
So they think this is the year for the Wild to take down the Central, huh?
Well, they
At
had
least in
us.
the playoffs.
They had us going in as a wild card again, and they had us beating the Blackhawks in round 2.
I just made a hilarious face at that, and then I realized this is radio. Oh well.
And that's why we're on radio.
I guess so. Yeah, because I cannot shave for 2 months and nobody cares. It's great. So, all right, there's a vision for you folks. So, keep following us on the Twitter. It's at SOTSO Joe for Joe, or at SOTSO Hockey Joe, SOTSO Hockey Joe, and I'm at SOTSO Hockey JJ for me, and use the hashtag at SOTSOPod, SOTSOH pod, with all your game tweets. We'd love to see more of them, and because the show's better when you guys are in on it. So please get in on it. So, but yeah, I guess we'll call that a show, Joe. So,
absolutely.
So we'll be back next week, and we will hopefully be talking about a road trip that's better than we predicted. But we'll just watch the games and follow us on the Twitter, and we will talk to you guys. So for Joe Hayford, I'm Justin Jelnick. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the State of the Hockey podcast. The music was created and produced by Deeb. To hear more of his tracks, visit soundcloud.com/Deeb.